Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I want you to know that it is greatly appreciated. Every single one of my subscribers is greatly appreciated. All the time that you spend watching my channel. I work hard every single day to continue to earn your trust, and I want to be able to provide you with information that you're not going to get elsewhere. I believe that our media is very one-sided. I believe that liberal media is too liberal. I believe conservative media is too conservative. My goal is to provide you with a middle ground, a common ground, and let you make the decision for yourself. This channel, the Ignition Time channel, is about the country. Matters in the country affect the economy, and by extension, those matters affect your money. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. If you don't know anything about me, check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. The Georgia Senate runoff races are taking up all the time and all the focus pretty much everywhere you look. And the reason for that is, depending on who wins control of the Senate, future policies, whether it's votes that come to the floor of the Senate, will be decided. Judicial picks, cabinet appointments will be decided. And through the process of reconciliation, things that the parties want can happen. Reconciliation was used by the Democrats to pass Obamacare. Reconciliation was used by the Republicans to pass the massive 2017 tax cut. So whenever a party has a majority, a party can pretty much push through what it wants, which is what's at stake with the Georgia Senate runoff races. It is expected that we'll know the results within 24 hours. Some say that it could take a few days, but I believe that the systems in Georgia, and I do believe that all the election officials in Georgia are working very hard, although they've been criticized. They've been significantly criticized by the administration, specifically by President Trump. I believe they're working hard, and we should see some sort of a result fairly quickly. But in this video, I'm going to focus on comments from a former Republican senator and the former Defense Secretary William Cohen. Now, keep in mind again, this is the former Defense Secretary of the United States of America, and he's a former Republican senator. And gosh, I gotta tell you, these are very, very, very strong comments. I'm actually going to show you two clips. Now, keep in mind, when I show you these clips, it's important what these individuals say. It doesn't matter to me whether this clip came from CNN or Fox News, and it shouldn't to you. What matters is what they say, and I specifically chose a clip from a former Republican senator. Okay, so the former Republican senator, and again, he's a former Defense Secretary, William Cohen, he criticized members of his own party. He spoke very strongly against the Republican Party, and he said that individuals who are essentially supporting the president's election challenge, and this includes Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, this includes Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, and several other Republican senators. He actually said that they were like circus animals under the president's control. Yep, that's what he said. In fact, he said those who vote to overturn the election are shameless. And he said the president is like a ringmaster who cracks the whip. I wouldn't have believed it unless I had heard this for myself from a former Republican senator. Let's roll the tape and hear comments from William Cohen about what's going on surrounding the election and surrounding supporters of the president when it comes to the certification of the Electoral College results by Congress. Let's roll the tape and listen to William Cohen, former Defense Secretary and former Republican senator. Let's watch.
Congressional source predicts there will definitely be a spectacle next week because at least a handful of Republican senators are expected to join the congressional challenges to the Electoral College vote. Let's get the insights of former Defense Secretary and Republican Senator William Cohen. Secretary Cohen, thanks for being on with us. Let me get right to this. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is now giving Republicans room to vote their conscience, is how it's being described, on these objections. And as a Republican and a former U.S. Senator, what is your response to this effort at this late stage, last-ditch stage in the process, despite all the evidence, to try to overturn the will of the American people?
Well, I think it's shameful. And those who are going to express their conscience by voting to support this effort to overturn the elections are shameless. You have to remember that the current occupant of the White House is a ringmaster, and what he expects to do is to snap his whip and all of the elephants jump on the chairs. And what they have to understand, those who are so eager to support this effort to overturn the vote of the American people, what they have to understand is he's going to continue to snap the whip, whether he's in office or out of office. And every time they're going to have to jump up and sit on that stool in order to satisfy him and his supporters. So this is the time when the senator says it's time for him to stand up. I think it's time for him to stand up for the Constitution. I think it's time for the senators to stand up for the Constitution. That's the oath that they swore to abide by and to enforce. Instead, they're trying to please the man who has lost the election. He went to the voters. The voters voted him out. He went to the electors. The electors certified the results. He went to the courts, and the courts rejected him. Now he's making a last stand with the United States Senate and the House in order to overturn and invalidate the votes of those principally in the states where there's a large minority voting population. You know, it seemed, given the history of this country in terms of slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, and now the effort to go to those particular areas and say you want to minimize or overturn the votes of minorities, black people, and others, it's shameful. And I think that they have to understand you're never going to satisfy President Trump. He is always going to up the ante. He cannot be satisfied. There's nothing in him. There is no moral core. And so you're going to be extorted or bribed in order to avoid a primary in 2022 or 2024. And Senator Hawley wants to be the first out of the box to say, I'm the new Trump. I'm the Me Too Trump. I'm the mini-me Trump. I think it's just shameful that the Senate is going to do this. And those senators who are lining up to support Senator Hawley, they have to understand they're going to have to keep doing it over and over again whenever the ringmaster cracks the whip.
Now, I just want to be clear. On the one hand, there are Republican senators who are challenging the results of the election. But on the other hand, there are Republican senators who are like, nah, we're not going to do that. So on your screen, you'll see a tweet from Manu Raju of CNN. And he said more and more Republican senators are coming out against overturning the election. In other words, they want to support the Electoral College certification in Congress for President-elect Biden. Republican Senator from Oklahoma, Jim Inhofe, Republican Senator from Oklahoma, said to challenge a state certification, given how specific the Constitution is, would be a violation of my oath of office. That is not something I'm willing to do, and it is not something Oklahomans would want me to do. Here's another tweet on your screen. Tim Scott, the United States Senator from South Carolina, Tim Scott said, and I'm quoting Tim Scott, thanks to Manu Raju from CNN, as I read the Constitution, there is no constitutionally viable means for the Congress to overturn an election where the states have certified and sent their electors. Here's another tweet. Jerry Moran, United States Senator from the great state of Kansas. Okay, Jerry Moran says, the states consistent with the principles of federalism possess the sole authority to determine and submit their electors. To vote to reject these state-certified electoral votes would be to act outside the bounds of the Constitution, which I will not do. Now, keep in mind, all these three senators, that's Jim Inhofe, Tim Scott, as well as Jerry Moran, all of them are Republican senators that will support the Electoral College certification of President-elect Biden in Congress. Now, let's get back to former Republican Senator and Defense Secretary William Cohen. He's not done yet. Oh boy, he's not done. He goes on to say that he believes that President Trump is pathological, and he believes the supporters of the president are diabolical. Yep, he said President Trump is pathological. He said the supporters of the president are diabolical. And he said maybe it's time for a new party. Listen closely to what he says at the end. Again, this is from a former Republican senator. He said maybe it's time for a new party. Let's roll the tape. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, well, for Trump, it's pathological. For those who are jumping up to support him, it's diabolical. And I don't think it's diabolically clever. I think they will find they'll be hostage for the rest of their time in the Senate and going forward if they're only there to appease the Trumpsters. So I think there's a real division. I would like to see the Mitt Romneys, the Susan Collins, and the others, the Ben Sass. Governor Thornburg just died today. Where are the Governor Thornburgs in the United States Senate? Why aren't they standing up for the rule of law? That used to be what the Republicans most prized ourselves on: rule of law, peaceful transition of power, engaging with our allies, Yes, fiscal responsibility to be sure. But where's the principle, the ethics involved? We had a young congressman-elect just died at the age of 41. And now we have a young senator standing up saying, it's my chance to stand up for what? For Trump or for the Constitution? And so I think there's a real split there. I don't know how Mitch McConnell's going to handle it going forward, but maybe it's time for a new party, one that abides by the rule of law, abides by balanced budget opportunities, fiscal responsibility, but also faithful to the people of this country who vote to elect them.
And in other comments, William Cohen, the former Republican senator, said, and I'm actually going to quote him now, "This bodes not well for the United States." He's referring to the challenge to the Electoral College certification results. This bodes not well for the United States because we're standing on the abyss of the destruction of our democracy. And so we have to come back to the key principles. You have to have truth in every facet of our lives, and when you don't, you will not have the trust of the people. Let's actually watch a segment with William Cohen where he says the president is, I quote, blatant in criminality, and he said we are standing on the abyss of the destruction of our democracy. This is very concerning, extremely concerning. Let's roll the tape. I want to hear what you folks think in the comment section below. Let's watch the former Republican Senator William Cohen.
So you heard the president's call. He was desperate, threatening, pleading for help from Georgia's Secretary of State to steal the election. What did you think, and how far do you think he'll go with this?
Well, we're seeing the persistence of his corruption. This is not something new. This is how he has operated during most of his lifetime. If you listen to his niece or read her book, if you listen to his own sister, this is consistent with what Donald Trump has done and continues to do. In that sense, it's not surprising, as stunning as it may be, that he can be so blatant, I think, in criminality. I know people are saying, well, did he have the requisite criminal intent to violate the law? Well, I think he did, but I'm just giving my supposition. But if he didn't, what does that say about him? If he didn't have the requisite intent and he's just doing it because he believes it, that in itself tells you he's not qualified to be in office. There's something fundamentally wrong. And you go back through the law, you say, well, what's the defense in an insanity, a criminal defense or this insanity? Couldn't tell right from wrong. Well, that may be the case. Or he had an irresistible impulse and couldn't resist it and therefore committed the act. But we're now looking at a man, the President of the United States, engaging in an overt act of criminal misconduct. And it shouldn't be surprising. He's done it before. But we have to remember, this also is a man who, think about this, when the National Guard was called out in El Paso because they needed the Guard to help move mobile morgues. He was jumping in his golf course to go play golf. That's an image that I can never remove from my mind, and I hope all of his supporters and those who are not his supporters think about that. The commander-in-chief leaving people to move mobile morgues while he's out playing golf, and that tells you what he thinks about other people other than himself. So George Shultz, a great Republican public servant, just turned 100. And he talked about the lessons he has learned over those 100 years. He said, without truth, there can be no trust. And if you don't have trust, there can be no society. So you have to have truth in the home. You have to have truth in the classroom, truth in the locker room, truth in the boardroom, and truth in the military. When that happens, good things take place. When you have trust and truth in those cases, good things happen. And when there's no trust and no truth, bad things happen, and everything else is simply details. So we are now looking at a situation where the president and his supporters have so saturated the airwaves with lies, misinformation, disinformation, rumors, speculation, that people are having trouble understanding what is true and what is false. And in that particular era, we have been in it now for 4 years, but now this bodes not well for the United States because we're standing on the abyss of the destruction of our democracy. And so we have to come back to the key principles. You have to have truth in every facet of our lives, and when you don't, you will not have the trust of the people.
That's it, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. You'll get a link to all of our resources in the description section below, so you can watch the entire interview with the former Republican senator. and the former Defense Secretary William Cohen. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video right here. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. On this channel, the Ignition Time channel, it's not important whether you're red or blue. For me, it's not about the red or the blue, it's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I'm American. We are all Americans first. You'll get different types of information on this channel. You're not going to get the regular kinds of information. You're going to get information that's important to the country, because we do need to understand how the country works. That in turn impacts the economy, and by extension, this impacts our money. On this channel, you'll hear about the country, the economy, and about our money. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. Please get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time, and send that to 70,000. That's 70000. You'll get added to our SMS alerts list moving forward. You can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and you'll get added to our email list going forward. You can opt out of the SMS list or the email list at any point in time that you want. Stay in touch with us via the SMS list or the email list. You'll get important news and alerts if you're on our SMS list and on our email list. So definitely make sure you stay in touch via SMS or via email. You'll also get information about any programs that we might release in the future. Now, keep in mind that YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. Sometimes YouTube sends out the notifications late. So all I ask you to do is simply go to youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. And then you'll be able to bookmark the homepage of our channel and then visit the homepage of our channel and watch the videos anytime you want. This way you're not dependent on notifications and you're not going to miss a single video, which is important. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So please follow us on Instagram. You'll get important information specifically for our Instagram community. Speaking of community, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. It's the same handle as Instagram. You'll get breaking news and alerts from us on Twitter. One of the incredible things about the growth of our channel has been the growth of our community. I encourage you to comment below. You'll make some new friends. We are a bipartisan, we are an intelligent, we are a respectful, we are a growing community. So engage with our community. You might make some new friends. Also, please share this video with just 2 friends or family members. Just share this video with 2 friends or family members. That would mean a lot to me personally. As always, you'll get a link to all of our resources in the description section below. So make sure you check out our description section. And finally, please ignite the subscribe button. Please ignite the like button. I would really appreciate that, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. Don't forget to enable notifications so that YouTube does send you reminders when we release content. I'll do anything for a like. If you want, I'll do one of my dances. Now, I guess I'm an average dancer, but seriously, I would really appreciate it if you click the like button. Once again, please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would mean a lot to me. If you click like, I get into party mode. And it's almost like there's confetti for me everywhere when you click the like button. I would really appreciate that. Guys, let me be completely honest. Just because some of us have started to get the $600 stimulus checks, it does not mean that it's raining money. What it means is, it's a lesson essentially for us that we should never, ever be dependent on the government again. And that is where I will lead you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thanks. Bye.